There's no point spending $30,000 on a BMW 1250 GS or a KTM 1290 Super Adventure or a 1973 model Kawasaki Z900. Or even if you spend way less on something like a CRF 300L or even a Honda CB125. You are just wasting your money if you don't have this essential accessory. Yes, that's right. Don't settle for a crappy plastic or even OEM valve cap. You must make yourself a custom-built valve cap to protect your investment. And don't be fooled into buying a fancy aftermarket cap either. That just won't do. I recognise this truth, so I'm going to make my own. Step 1 is to find out what thread and what size the valves are. All valves are the same, and this valve in the shed on my trolley will do just fine. The thread's a 0.75mm pitch, and I reckon it's probably an M8, so if I just put this die on, yep, that screws on perfectly, so that's what I need. So now if I look at my little chart, I find that I need to drill about a 7.2mm hole for this in order to tap the correct thread. So I check my tap set and find that yes, I've got a 0.758. Perfect. It'd be nice to make this from brass, but that will clash with the colour on my motorcycle, so I'm just going to make it out of aluminium. And this bit of scrap looks like it's about the right dimension. So it's over to the little hobby lathe to put that scrap in and start the process. I'm just using a centre drill to drill a hole in the end. I'm going to knurl this, so I want a bit of end stock support because the knurl puts a lot of sideways pressure on just a tiny bit of aluminium like this. So I just gently push the knurl into the aluminium with a bit of lubrication and it starts cutting. This is more than I need, so that should be just fine. I'm just going to cut some of that knurl off, just to make it look a little bit prettier. With that done, it's time to drill the appropriate size hole so that I can tap a thread inside it. Just chamfering the sharp edge with the file and then polish it up with a little bit of emery paper. After all, prettiness is our end goal here. With that done, I can part it off from the stock. But I'll just part it part way and then I'll just put a bit of a chamfered angle on the top of the cap just to make it look a little bit prettier and to finish off that top edge. Now I can finish parting it off. After parting off from the stock, you always end up with a little tit left. So I turn the cap around and put it back in the lathe so that I can take that little tit off. But I quickly find that the biggest little tit is myself, because as I put pressure on that, wait for it, oh dear, disaster. Well, that cap is completely Ted from the Roo country. You can see that it's squashed and no good at all. But no worries, time passes and here's another one. This time I'll take the little tit off using the sander. Yeah, that's right, I do learn from my mistakes, but the trouble is there are so many different mistakes that can be made. So I find I'm continually learning. Bit of a final polish with some fine emery paper, and Bob will be our uncle. Wow, look at that. Is that a thing of beauty or what? Bit of a clean up with some contact cleaner. Get all the crap out of it. And it's finished. It's so shiny that I have to put it in my black gloves to be able to see the detail. Now, if only I could afford a $30,000 bike so that I could complete that motorcycle by putting the custom cap on it. There are lots of people with expensive bikes, but very few with a custom built valve cap. Unlike most, my bike is complete with this essential accessory.